Three, two, one. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 277 of the KBMOD podcast. It is May 7th, 2017. It's my birthday month, guys. It's my birthday month. I'm kind of
Oh, what a tease. You said birthday, and I was thinking, wait a minute, it's not your birthday.
No, it's not. It's a couple weeks away.
My excitement peaked and then
I just,
dropped
you know what?
straight back
I just
down.
I want to celebrate this and try to make myself feel better about turning 30. It's a ways away, but I'm just preparing myself. But
That's true, yeah. I mean, given that it's possible we don't see you after that.
yeah, no, exactly.
As I understand it, 30 is actually like the end of your life. So
yes, I mean, at least if I'm to believe the fortune teller I talked to in 8th grade that my friends dragged me to when we played hooky at school, yes, she said on my 30th birthday. Well, she spoke in a very heavy Jamaican accent, and so it was hard to understand her. But I believe her name was Miss Cleo. But I do recall it not. She's basically implied that it was all downhill from 30. So. I don't know if that
did
means
she
that I
speak
get a
sort of
little
in
bit of time.
tongues? Was it sayings like the 30th trip around the sun? You know, it was like a little bit
Yeah,
shrouded.
It was a little bit vague. It was a little bit
Okay.
vague. So I don't. But yeah. So like you said, I mean, we should just enjoy these couple weeks that we have before
Yeah.
I turn 30. So. Yeah, no, I did. Okay. Sunrain, I didn't say it was my birthday year. Okay. That would have been, but I think it's fair. You know, I used to, my brother's one of those people though. I'm kind of joking, but he's like, he'll milk his birthday. He'll milk a birthday month. Like he'll say stuff to me like, "Oh, it's my birthday month, man." When we were younger, and I'm like, "Dude, you don't get you get a day. You don't get a
I've
month."
definitely seen
okay?
people doing birthday week. But
Birthday
month
week,
birthday
fair.
month is crazy.
That's just way too much effort to put into someone's birthday. Like, come on, one day. I already hate
Yeah.
you so much.
Dang. Yeah. What do you guys when it comes to birthdays? Do you guys? I mean, I don't think anybody really likes surprises. Some people do, I guess, but I think most normal, sane people don't like. Like I've had one surprise party, a legit surprise party for me that my girlfriend threw a couple years ago, and it was really good because I was actually she actually kept it from me, and it was a good surprise. But I generally am not a fan of the surprise stuff. What about you guys?
I've had one surprise party that legitimately surprised me. And it
Yeah.
was good, but also I'm kind of the same. I'm generally not someone who likes surprises, and I'm pretty easygoing, so I don't really like. I'm not the person that wants to call a ton of attention to myself. So it's like that one day is kind of more than enough, because it's like, all right, I just kind of want to get on with things.
Exactly. Plus, even somebody like me, like I'm generally a social person, and I like being the center of attention. But I don't like being the forced center of attention in something that I'm not prepared for. And so, like birthday stuff, like you'd be having happy birthday sung to you, having everybody watch you open gifts. That stuff makes me uncomfortable, and I'm like, it really shouldn't. But I guess it's more all about like not being prepared for it or not expecting it. So, anyway, I don't know what. Guys, this is not a podcast about my birthday, though. It kind of has become it. But no, episode 277, and Brad is still on his hiatus. I hope he's doing well. Again, heard he's out somewhere in the on the Oregon Trail, I think is what he actually texted me. He had spotty reception, but it said something like finding myself, finding a lot of things out about myself, and then he sent me 3 eggplants and one of those squirt emojis, and I'm not 100% sure what it means. But we miss him and excited to have him back eventually. But
Was that included with the photograph of him nude in front of the waterfall?
Yes, that was the same.
Okay.
Oh, you got the same message as me?
Oh, was
I
he
didn't realize.
nude?
I think it was a mass text.
It was pretty dark, and it looked like almost night vision, so I couldn't tell.
Gotcha.
It's like a green tent. Might have been
Yeah.
just some deleted scene from Ghost Hunters. But
Yeah, that's what I thought it was actually too. I was like, why are you sending me a Ghost Hunter screenshot? They're not
shit, is
even
that
on there anymore.
Brad?
Yeah, but no. So missing him, but I hope he's doing well. But of course, we've got the rest of the crew, Katie and Brandon. How you boys doing? How was your week?
Doing
You
great.
know,
I'm so full of chicken, it hurts.
Yeah. Brandon, what kind of chicken are you talking? What kind of chicken are you talking about?
Just feasts, dinners,
So
chicken
many
all over
chicken
the
dinners.
place. Just thighs, breasts, drumsticks.
Oh my god.
At this point, basically just tried every different type.
Right.
When you're eating
Yeah,
chicken for every meal, it gets rough.
People may not realize the joke you're making about Battlegrounds or the pun about winner chicken dinner. But they might be thinking that because last week, remember, we had that question, or that information about meat being super sexual and touching the breasts. Remember?
That's true.
So I think people may.
Yeah.
I think Brandon, you took that to heart.
If you're listening to these to the podcast back to back, it almost just sounds like we're just continuing on with
the
week.
Sexuality of
cliffhanger.
The sexuality of meat.
Mm.
Wow.
Repercussions for fondling it. God, I don't want to think about that question right now.
But yeah, how was anything exciting this week? We'll get into the gaming stuff and chicken dinners and all that. But anything of note? Any fun?
I'm not full of
going?
chicken. I'm full of skirt steak.
Ooh,
Delicious pink flaps of meat.
Oh,
okay.
Skirt steak, I mean. Yeah.
Yes, you just had some for dinner, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Good.
I
Yeah,
see
it
you've
was
got
delicious.
French fries on your bed, so snacking away on those.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the edible kind. Just the icon.
Anything's edible if you try hard enough.
That's true.
I think
It's
Abraham Lincoln
perfectly
said something like that at one point in his life, but I think he said anything's a dildo if you try hard enough. But it was it's like a separate. It's not exactly the same quote, but I
mean, look, quotes morph over time. Yeah, it's hard to find original sources for anything anymore.
It is, but it's attributed to Abraham, at least on all the websites that I've seen. So, that's good. I'm trying to think.
I didn't really have anything going on this week, but I did earlier today get a fraudulent charge on my credit card from GameStop, which is how I knew immediately it was fraudulent.
Wow, that's how you know.
So someone wanted to spend $54.95 at a GameStop on my credit card.
Wow.
I was trying to think, what can you buy at GameStop for exactly $54.95? Because it's such a round number, and normally they charge tax and stuff. So I was thinking, what did he try to buy? He or she try to buy?
Sounds like a Wii U game. How much do Wii U games sell for?
I was thinking
they're 50.
I was thinking like $49.99 plus tax, but then wouldn't the tax be like, probably some odd number? It just seems such a round number.
Let me see. He might have traded in to get some store credit.
Yeah, we've got an expert here.
Paying the difference.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
No GameStop experience. I'm just
getting
any simple human would figure that out. That would
truly be next level if he was trading in a game and then paying for the difference with a fraudulent credit card.
Wow, this guy's a genius.
That's a good point. Yeah, that doesn't really it's not really sound logic.
But
yeah, but that hasn't happened to me very often. But yeah, I got a little credit card alert. So I guess I don't know if that guy made out with exactly one purchase at GameStop, but. Too bad.
Wow.
I honestly can't. I think the last time I was in GameStop 2 years ago, at some point in Pittsburgh, I went to pick up to just look at like their used releases. But oh man, dude, I just don't
most of the time. Yeah, most of the time when I go in GameStop, they just have some all of their used games you can get cheaper at other stores, and they have Zelda Yahtzee, which is just a cheap little treasure chest looking thing with colored dice, or Pokemon cards too. It's just,
when you go into a GameStop, is that considered competitive intelligence? Are you taking notes or anything?
Yeah, I'm getting all the prices. I do find out what they're giving, what they're paying people if they sell in systems, because at my place of employment, we always pay more than what GameStop will give you.
So, okay. I like the little plug there too. Just end the little dig at GameStop.
What are they gonna track?
But that wouldn't be hard. You get a game that's valued at $50 or $60 at GameStop. You bring it back, a week later. They're like, so you bought it for $60. Let me see here, and they try to act like that was the one thing too. At least the one I used to go to back in the day, they would always act like they were I don't know. At least the guy that I would deal with would act like he was like a used car salesman. He could talk to his boss and come back with a number. When I know, they just look at a freaking computer, or they would look at a book, and it would be okay, he give him $16 or give him $20, something ridiculous.
Yeah,
But he'd be like,
it's
all right,
just
well,
like,
I can do. Remember, because they would take the disc out and they would look at it too. Like they would look at like if there's any scratches, which I understand. Like
Well,
they
yeah.
don't want to take something that's super fucked up.
uh-huh.
But like I've even had them try to tell me like there would be like scratches that weren't even there. He would be like, well, you see, I'm like, no, I don't see anything. Give like I'm gonna have to take $1 off for that or something. I'm like,
Oh my god.
I mean, I've been, and so that's probably another reason why. I mean, I think we've all been there with GameStop. It's like, dude, fuck off. Or people
Yeah.
are too helpful, or they won't leave you alone. Like, you need anything? You need anything? Like, stop.
Yeah,
Stop
that
talking.
happens to me too.
I
Like,
don't even
and the
want
worst
anybody
is
to
when,
know I'm in GameStop. Like,
and when that happens, like, I wish they all had like a collective intelligence, because one person will ask me, I'll say no, I'm fine, but none of the other employees know that I've rejected help. So
Yeah.
like, it's happened where every other person on the shift will like ask me for help. I'm like, I just want to look at amiibos. I
right,
don't need any help.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I don't really shop in in real life that much anymore. But
No.
I'll go with Hillary or whatever, if we're out and about. And we went into a department store, and it was that exact feeling you're talking about, KD. Like we're in the she's in like the purses section, and the person comes up and is like, can I help you with anything? It's like, no, of course not. These are purses. Like clearly the person knows what they're looking for, or they're just
I'm looking for
perusing.
something.
And
to
then
put my
like
wallet.
you walk 20 feet and it's like a different person's area, so obviously that
Yeah.
person comes up, and I know they're just trying to be helpful, but that's like the worst part of the experience for me, is I have to constantly be like deflecting these people that I know have good intentions, but then also I know they're on commission, so it's like just let's just stop. Let's just stop.
Exactly. That's all my experience with like Fry's Electronics. Like when I walk into like they usually all hang around the monitor section, and they're just swarms of
That's your
people.
section, KB. I'm one of those monitor section boys. If you come,
No. I'm saying like when I go around that area, that's where I notice like 10
the
or
most
so of
amount.
them are
Yeah.
grouped up, and then like one person will. And this is what really sucks too. Like I always feel bad when the first person will come up, ask if they need help, be like, no, I don't right now. And then they'll leave. They're like, actually, I do have a question. And I'll ask another associate, and they'll end up like ringing out and getting the commission. And then the other person's just giving me the evil eye from like aisles down. Like, you didn't need any fucking help from me, huh? Is it him? So.
Well, see, and that's the thing, like at a place like
true.
Fry's, I can actually sort of understand it, because there's a lot of technical details and stuff. So
Yeah.
you actually, that's one reason I would maybe want to go to a Fry's if I was like a non-tech literate person, like if you could truly trust that the people there were educated about the things they were selling, then you kind of would want someone's help maybe in comparing like two models of monitor that are the same size and look the same. Like my parents wouldn't know the difference between those things. But then you have the whole model is like they're still trying to sell you something, and so they'll probably try and sell you the more expensive one or whatever. Like this is what Best Buy is famous for, like famous in a bad way, for like not having any idea what the actual specs of the things they're selling are, and they're just like trying to sell you whatever's expensive and the Geek Squad warranty and all this stuff. It's like,
Oh my god!
come on.
Oh, the Geek Skull.
Oh
Best
my god!
Buy is, I mean, we could just rant for hours on GameStop. Fuck Best Buy. Going into Best Buy, like if you are in a situation where you're in a Best Buy, you've already fucked up. Like it's already a bad situation. I'm not saying like, okay, if it's Black Friday or something like that, sure, you can get deals. But if you're like, I've had a few situations in my life where there's nothing else open, or I can't order online because I need it instantly, and there's no other electronic store, and I'm in there trying to get something like either an HDMI cable or something super simple, and you go over there and it's like a 10 foot or 5 foot HDMI cable, and it's like $50. And you're like,
and they've got like four brands. They've got like four brands of HDMI cables.
Yes, yeah. And you're like, what? Gold plated, diamond plated. It's like, what are you? And then you just realize that the average person is like, oh, okay, sure. Even though it's just literally, it's either works or it doesn't. Like there's been so many tests, like it doesn't.
It's ones and zeros. They're either going through or they're not.
Either on or off. But the gold plated, really, it makes you feel good. It's just, oh god, man. Yeah. So that vibe when I'm in Best Buy, GameStop, all of those, and I guess that's one thing with technology that Brandon is. I'm going to bring this back to what we were talking about in the pre-show. Was you talking about how you ordered this TV? You talked about it a week ago or so. I think it was last week.
Yeah.
And it still hasn't come yet. to
Yeah,
your
it's still,
to your
and it's not
house.
going to come for like another 4 days. So by the time it gets here, it will have been like 2 full weeks. And I was just, we were talking about like I feel so spoiled now with technology, where
Right.
I just sort of take for granted that I can peruse all the different options, find the absolute best one that fits what I need, order it, and have it here inside of 2 days. And the fact that I ordered this TV, like I did my research and I found the one I wanted, but I had to order this TV off of stupid Vizio's direct website, and it's going to
Yeah.
take, it's going to have been like 2 full weeks almost when it gets here.
Yeah.
It is just excruciating. Like I already sold my old TV. I just don't have a TV downstairs now because I had this expectation of like when I buy it, it's going to come in a couple days because that's just like the world we live in now. But
Yeah.
there's still,
No, it's
it
fair.
makes me forget that there is this world of people that still like go to Best Buy and just buy things, you know,
They
and like
do.
are going to department stores and just like shopping for stuff. And that's just that is just not the way I live my life now.
No.
Yeah. And
No
Geek
longer.
Squad is just like so obviously like preying on people who don't know any better. Like I remember last time I went to Best Buy, I was just looking and they had like a post-it of the different like computer services they provide and like the price breakdown. And one of them was install a new hard drive. Now, I'm going to go ahead and assume that both of you gentlemen are very experienced with installing a hard drive in a desktop computer and how simple that is. And they wanted, they want $40 for that operation.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
That just blows my mind.
Everything, dude. Like the virus removal and shit. They literally install Microsoft's Security Essentials and run a scan on somebody's laptop. You know what I mean? Or they download microbytes or whatever else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, but that is. I mean, that's the. I mean, not everybody is as our power users like ourselves, guys.
But I feel like it's not even power users that much anymore. Like I feel like it is more and more just the way that normal people interact online.
Sure.
Like they go to a website and they look for the highest rated thing and they buy that thing. And like generally that's probably better than what they were doing before, which is going into a Best Buy and asking the clerk, like, hey, which is the best HDMI cable? I don't know what HDMI even does, but I need one for my TV. And they tell them like, well, there's this $20 one, or if you want the gold-plated one, it's $50. It's like, well, all right, I guess I need the $50 one. Whereas now, if you go to Amazon and you type in HDMI cable, it like automatically shows you, the $4 one that everyone's buying.
Yeah.
So I feel like normal people, I think, are becoming like a little more literate by accident almost.
Probably more savvy.
Because like Amazon just cares about like everyone buying their HDMI cables from Amazon, whereas Best Buy wants to sell you the most expensive thing because you're already in their store. Like you're not going to leave without the thing you came for.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this turned into a bit of a rant about.
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
I don't even remember
it was
either.
The fraudulent credit card charge.
Yeah, fraudulent
that's
charge.
what it was. That's right. Wow.
Yeah.
So I hope
There you go.
that guy enjoys his $55 item. I was thinking like, if you're going to use a fraudulent credit card in a store, why not like buy something real? Like $55?
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
Why not buy something that's like a few $100 because you're only going to get one shot.
Exactly.
Yeah, go all in.
Yep.
You got reimbursed for the charge, right?
Yeah, that's how credit cards work. I mean, I'm not liable.
Okay,
I'm not liable for that charge at all. They canceled my card. I'll have a new one this week. But like, you just committed a crime for $55 at GameStop.
Yeah.
Like you
that's
committed
really
credit
weak.
card fraud for $55 at GameStop. I hope that
Go
was
bigger.
worth the crime you committed.
Yeah.
That like
I remember
one
time.
you're in a GameStop. Like there are cameras and everything. The trail of evidence,
Yeah.
if they cared, is so clear.
Right.
I remember one time. Oh, hold on. Let's hit the old ban button. I remember one time someone ended up stealing someone left their credit card or like it was their card on like the counter where I work and I didn't see it was there and someone grabbed it and just like after they picked up their card they immediately go to the next door Subway and get food and then they immediately go to the next door Best Buy and pick something up and
Wow.
they were caught within an hour. It was
very
it was
amateur. Huh?
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty rough.
I feel like there are so many. There are just so many details about like everything you do now that it just seems like, what is the payoff of doing something like that? How do you think you're going to get away with it?
Yeah, it's people just. I assume they just don't know any better. Like they just don't know what alerts are. Like how some people can set that up. But
yeah, I've been pretty. See, I've had my information. I've just been unlucky. I've had a couple credit cards where I've had like, at one point it was even Extra Life a year or 2 years ago. Brandon in Orlando, I got a call when we were there. Someone was like, "Are you in?" Someone was like, "Are you in New York right now?" I was like, "No, I'm not." They're like, "Okay, so you didn't spend $500 at ExxonMobil?" I was like, "No, definitely not me." They're like, "Okay, we figured as much." So I've had that. Like I've had people go. See, I've had the opposite. I've definitely had people go all out on my credit cards. Like, and I'm like, okay, I see what. Like, I don't know, like if what they're doing with their purchases. Like they're filling up their entire families. Like, like they're just filling cars with gas because they're like, well, this thing's gonna stop working at some point. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like I could at least understand it a little more if you're trying to get away with one big purchase because you know that it's not going to work afterward. But just like exactly. I don't know, man. I guess I'm not sure I'll ever understand the mentality, like the mindset you're in, having a fraudulent credit card and just strolling into a GameStop, grabbing something and being like, "Cool, got what I came for."
Gonna go home and play my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with my
Sonic Boom.
They'll never catch me. Shouldn't have stopped for the Subway sandwich though on the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, for his sake, I hope he had another credit card because like you can't even get home. You can't buy anything after that. I shut you down immediately. Do these people just walk around with a bunch of fake credit cards?
I feel like if you're really deep in the game, maybe they just like, this is what I was thinking. Like maybe he had a ton of them and he just cycles through. You know what I mean?
I guess that's the thing is like, I guess if you do this all the time, maybe there's some sort of rhythm to it that you literally only use them once because you expect them to get canceled or something. But still,
and maybe the other thing too. What if here we go. Now we're really getting meta. But what if the low purchases are because they know that stores that the credit cards are not going to bother with a $54 purchase?
You might be
like,
right.
Who cares?
You might actually be right. You know what? Actually, that does make a lot of sense. That like the people that don't have alerts turned on, if you just see a $50 GameStop charge on your card and you have kids or something, maybe you're just like, that was probably the kids getting something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a method to the madness.
Definitely. Yeah,
but
I'm sure
that was the most exciting thing that happened all week was me getting a text message hitting no, that wasn't me, and getting a new credit card.
Hey, that's not
the joys of adulthood.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, squarely in adulthood. All right, well, let's talk about games a little bit. Katie, let's start with you. What have you been playing this week? I know we had a little bit of overlap, but
yeah.
At some point.
Just more Persona 5, man.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. If I had no real world responsibilities, that would be it. It would just be Persona 5. I think 28 hours at this point because I haven't really sat down and like just wasted my life, but it's a dangerous game. Like, oh man. But other than that, let me just hit the old recent tab on Steam. Played some Sonic Adventure 2.
Really?
Throwback.
Really?
Yeah. I was thinking of doing like a video about that, and so I was getting some gameplay started. A new file.
I've got a name for your video if you want.
Yeah.
Emo the Edgehog.
Yes.
There it is.
That's right.
That'll get views. That'll definitely garner.
It's you playing while reading fan fiction about
that's good.
Sonic.
That's good.
There's this great. I mean, I didn't look it up. I mean, I watched like a dramatic reading of it, but there's this fan fiction called Sonic High School that was like written by someone of a very low intelligence, and it's just amazing. It's it's awesome. But yeah, that game is just so much nostalgia. Like that game has problems, but I can sink hours. That was pretty much all I played on my fucking GameCube in elementary school. Sonic Adventure 2, Raising My Chow. That was it, man. But
we know you have a soft spot in your heart for Sonic.
Yeah, that's
all right.
He's got a soft spot in his heart, but he's got a hard spot somewhere else. on his
Ooh.
buddy.
That was good.
Man.
I just slapped my knee for you.
Oh man. Good
That
morning
was good.
here.
Is that salt? No, I don't know. But yeah, that was good. And then what else? I really wanted to. I would have played more Rocket League, but I'm in this awkward space where I don't want to play more because I know I'm gonna lose my rank. I know I'm gonna like in my duos rank. That's my most prized possession. I'm gold 3 right now. I mean, as of the month ago I played, I was gold 3. So I don't want to play more because I know I'll lose and it'll go down. But then again, I'm scared to log on because I know that I'm deranking.
I was
Like
gonna say it decays.
right
so
now.
Yeah, it decays.
I know,
so.
but I'm scared to log on because I know it's gonna be gone. But I'm really helping no one right now by not playing.
I love this frozen in fear KD over the rank. Like you're like, I mean, I should play, but I don't want to see. Wow, you really are paralyzed. Katie, listen, dude.
The main
rank, dude. Just like I understand it's a prized possession, but
man,
just get on there, play a few games, and whatever your rank is, your rank is. It doesn't define you as a person, okay?
oh my god,
Right.
it's way too precious, man. And you know me, I get pissed at video games.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
Like, and that brings me into the next thing I've been, or the last thing I've been playing, Battlegrounds, which will be a nice segue. Which this, oh my god, when you and I and Al Shem Noel all played with Frost, and it was up to me and Sham, and I blew it. Like everyone moved on, but that ruined.
You were really having a tough time with it. I was
dude.
It's fine.
No, I could have won. I could have no.
You're still on it.
And this sounds so like corny, like
No,
going on about that, but
I
those
hear
that
losses
was-
stick with you.
they really do. That was tragic.
Right. Yeah, you were really hard on yourself, and I was like, I mean, I was watching the whole thing. I was like, I mean, yeah, it was like, I don't think it was a guarantee. I wasn't like a free round. I don't think like, but like if you listening to Katie, you would have thought he like, you know, he like totally failed. He was like, oh, God,
Lives
no.
were at stake.
I heard a little slamming of the desk, and he's like, "Oh God, I suck like God." It's fine, dude. Like it wasn't, you know, you guys finished top 10. It was close, and you're like, "No, I just suck at this." I was like, "All right, dude."
Did I really say it like that?
Well, you sound you
Oh,
you were a little wound up, but I mean, it's
no.
good though. The passion's good, man. You want to see some fire. I'd rather play with people like that who care about winning than, you know, who don't. But there is definitely a balance there. But it just means
a lot
you're
of my
hungry for those
losses-
chicken dinners, man. You're famished, and you know.
I gotta have them, man. Like I've got like what 10 wins. That's nothing.
Yeah.
And all I really need is someone to carry me. Frost, if you're listening, Brandon, if you're free after the cast, let's just go.
Yeah.
Let's get some W's.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm
so-
full.
What I was gonna ask was Outlast 2. Did you play any? Because we talked about it last week.
Like I'm at a part of it where it's just I don't really I need to get that motivation back. I haven't really progressed any further. I'm at the part where I'm on that bridge where a bunch of flies swarm you and you wake up hanging upside down. And I think I just got past that.
Okay.
And I don't know, man. It's just I'm not feeling it.
Okay.
I'm not feeling it anymore. I know I need to just. It's not a short game, you know.
No, it's not super short. It's not super short. I mean, like, yeah, it's not like a 3-hour experience. It's going to take 6 to 7 hours to 8 hours. I mean, if you read everything, probably 7. So, and I know, well, and also too, you don't really like playing those, like, it's a pretty intense game to play by yourself. The way that, and that's one thing with like streaming those games, it's fun because you have the chat experience, and that's part of it.
Oh,
but by myself, like I wouldn't be playing Outlast by myself.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
so I get that. I understand. Like I get it. I can't really talk because that's not something an experience that I would want on my own. Like I don't need to.
And playing it playing a pre-release was another thing too, because it was compelling because like I was playing it before everybody else, but now it's like if I wanted to, I could just load up your VOD and watch that.
That's true. Honestly, I mean, if you're not going to finish it, just do that. But you can just skip to the end, or I don't know, watch the last like hour and then watch. We basically spend an hour upset at the end. So
really,
that's pretty fair.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not. You're not really missing. I guess it's not like a must play where, you know, you're missing anything. anyway, I won't spoil the ending, but it's disappointing to say the least.
Okay. I think I might wait for a night when I have some friends over and we all like play it together. I think that might be good
Actually,
too.
there you go. That's a good idea. Yeah, with a group of people in person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. And then lastly, played one match of CS:GO with some good buds, Timmy, Yin and Yang, some pals.
Nice. Yeah, you guys get a win.
Yeah, we got a solid win. I had to dip
Nice.
early, but
Wait,
yeah.
the game was over?
No, I mean I only played one game. I didn't. Play
Oh,
more
okay.
after that.
Okay. I was like, oh.
Yeah, first half. Yeah, I've got to go, guys.
All right. See you guys.
Hope the bod's good.
Really? That's all you played this week, Katie? Huh.
That's honestly so much Persona 5.
Yeah. Okay. That's all you. Nothing else.
I had a
happened this
real.
week.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah, I did play.
You know what?
Oh,
No, dude,
man.
it's fine. Don't
Listen,
even
it's on
mention it.
Origin. I
No,
spaced
don't even
it.
mention. No, it's fine, dude.
Hey,
You know
how
what?
about we
I'm pretty
segue
forgettable.
into? How about we segue into what you've been playing with this next title that we both have played?
Well, I'm not even sure I even played it because you didn't even. It didn't even wasn't a blip on your radar, so I'm not even sure it happened. To be honest.
All right, buddy. What are you doing tomorrow? So you want to wait until
all right.
Wednesday to play something?
Yeah, that's true. No, we did. Okay, I'll go into what we've been playing. So Katie and I decided that, or Katie put the idea out that we should play through Dead Space 3 together because while not a great game, it is a co-op experience that offers a lot of the framework for what we like in a co-op game.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to we started that up on Thursday. We played. What did we play? About 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we're playing it on the hardest difficulty, which at first it seemed like it wasn't going to be an issue, right? We were kind of blowing through it. And then we got to a section where there was a lot of enemies and it ramped up a bit, but it's
one of us had to do a puzzle and the other one had to like defend the other person.
And so you're dealing, and the enemies hit pretty hard. And having not really played, I did play through Dead Space 1 a long time ago, but getting used to the mechanics again and all that kind of stuff. But it's not a bad, like Dead Space 3, again, I think it suffers from, because I didn't play Dead Space 2, which I know people love.
Oh,
but it's not a Dead Space, it's like kind of what they did with Resident. Would you say the Resident Evil 6 comparison, or even 5, is fair? Where it's like,
absolutely.
Okay, they just went action, and it's not really scary. And it's not like a bad game. Like mechanically, it plays fine. It's just pretty cheesy and over the top.
Yeah, you have to go into it thinking, all I want is gameplay.
Right.
If you're a Dead Space fan, you're gonna be disappointed. Especially like I was saying, there are like videos you can look up of like old directors talking about like the original plans for the game and how like the co-op is like so obviously thrown in last second. Like the co-op character is just like they dropped his model in the cutscene. No one else reacts to what they say. Yeah, and they're just going off like, and like the single player cutscenes, characters will just stay quiet for certain lengths of time, like to like make space for like the co-op guy to talk. But yeah, it's just it's so sad because that was during a time like EA, and they probably still do, but they wanted everyone, or I'm sorry, every single game of theirs to have multiplayer in some form. Like Dead Space 2 had this kind of like PvP where one team was like humans and one team was necromorphs, which was actually pretty like cool because it didn't really like it didn't really infect the single player, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But in Dead Space, yeah. Ooh.
Like that.
But yeah, in Dead Space 3, they went all out, and for better or for worse, it's still fun. If the rest of the game is like what we experienced from that puzzle room on, I'm gonna enjoy it. Yeah.
As long as it ramps up, like the I'm fine with the difficulty being ramped up on whatever we're playing on. What do they call the difficulty?
Impossible mode.
Impossible, which is definitely not impossible.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah. So no, that was fun. I'm enjoying. It'll be fun to go through that. Continue to play through that with you.
Yeah. But that first level in that game is one of the worst first levels. You're immediately doing cover-based shooting with human enemies in a Dead Space title. Yeah. And it's just it's such a, I'm not even gonna think of some sexual term, but it's terrible.
Yeah. it's rough. And in case people are like, yeah, Dead Space 3 came out 4 years ago, and they're like, you think we don't know this? Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe you've forgotten, or maybe you've never played the Dead Space franchise. But yeah, 1 and 2, if you want the
Oh
true
my god,
experience.
2 is I'll be honest, that was a masterpiece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard. I'm gonna have to
Oh, definitely.
give that a playthrough at some point. Beyond that, Battlegrounds as well. Enjoying. I mean, it's a great game. I mean, I won't spend it. I mean, I feel like we spent 45 minutes. I feel like every week we spend 45 minutes to an hour talking about how much we enjoy Battlegrounds. So I won't
We do.
say more than that. They did have, there's still a bunch of stuff to be done on the game. They had the invitational for the charity, which was kind of cool. The camera work and stuff like that, the spec client, a lot of that stuff needs work. I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
I mean, can we talk about the fact that they already have at least a working spectator client? It wasn't perfect. It was rough.
Yes,
but like they have a spectator client that worked.
Yes. No, exactly. I mean, we could tell what was happening, and that is And again, if you look at time, it's like this game has been actually out in alpha for a couple months, and we're it's a pretty the pace is pretty impressive. So
I was impressed that their spectator client worked like as well as it did for that being such a brand new game.
Yeah. And Chat's pointing this out, but I cannot once they unlock the custom games as like a feature where you can just customize and invite people to your own lobby. That's going to be so fun. Like I'm just thinking about for stuff in my own Twitch stream and having like sub games or whatever else. And
I think like being able to limit the different variables will be so neat because I think that, and I actually think that may be sort of a way to guide the development team for how they should balance the base game. Because if they start seeing everyone making custom games that have fewer ARs or fewer scopes or something like that, they can sort of maybe tell, hey, the community seems to be playing these games because that's what they desire out of the base game. Right. So they can maybe take some cues on how they should balance based on the majority of custom game data. So I imagine that'll be a big help, and I'm looking forward to maybe being able to play custom games like pistols only or something something just completely ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. No, totally.
That you would literally never see happen in the normal game.
Yeah. That's gonna be good. So I've been playing that, and that's basically Counter-Strike as per usual. But there's the main stuff. Brendan, I'll kick it to you. I know, obviously Battlegrounds, but
that's basically all I've been playing is Battlegrounds. I've played quite a bit this week. We got played a bunch yesterday. Actually, got a first place, got a second place, which should have been a first place, but thanks to Justin Wong, it was a second place. And
a little bit of a choke or something, or
it's I mean, choke is a word for it. Yeah, he got turned on pretty hard after missing like 5-6 bullets. So, but it's okay. The whole night we got a bunch of top 5 finishes, and I think what I attribute that to is that I discovered recently, and some people may already know this about the game, but when you jump out of the plane. You initially think, oh, I can't get very far when I jump out. Like, I need to jump to somewhere relatively close to the plane, go straight down, try and get down as quick as possible. I have discovered that a potentially better tactic is if you jump out of the plane and pull your parachute immediately, you will be amazed at how far you can get. So, like, there have been times where I've jumped out of a plane that's gone across the center of the map. And if you pull your parachute early, like you can actually make it all the way down to military. I've had a few games recently that I think we ended up doing really well because we took a gamble that no one else would go as far as we were going to. And one of these games, we literally had the military base all to ourselves because like people just don't realize how far you can get with your parachute. But obviously the downside is that it takes a lot longer to hit the ground. So you're at a slight disadvantage when it comes to the time. You don't get as much time to loot, but sometimes it can be worth it. So that's
the one thing too about the deepness of this game and like the ways that you can play it, right? And people are still discovering stuff like that. Like, and even like I was even just gonna say, you were talking about pulling your parachute early, but like stuff like even like tapping W if you are falling, and like same thing, you can get like you can be in the middle of the map and go left or right all the way to the edge,
Yeah.
depending on when you jump, and still get down at a fairly decent pace. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot to learn
yes.
about the game, even once you understand the sort of the base mechanics. Because like the sort of the parachute thing and understanding how far you can actually get from the plane and estimating, what you can reasonably get to just by parachuting, is a big benefit. And then the thing that I still need to get better at is like identifying loot by looking at it, so not actually having to run over to it and hold, hit your inventory and see, oh
Right.
wait, I don't actually want any of that. Like if you watch some some streamers who've played the game a lot, they basically pass over loot because they can already recognize if it's something they need. And I'm not quite there yet. So, but that you can if you can speed up how quickly you can loot by like 1.5 times, like if you can go 1.5 times quicker than someone else, then you're at a huge advantage toward the late game because you're so much more geared out for for how many houses and stuff you hit. So it's just such a fun game. I mean, there's still some frustrating parts about it. Obviously, like the tick rate is really low. You'll definitely die sometimes. Even
Behind
after you,
cover.
like behind cover and stuff. Like that stuff is frustrating, but I feel like that's still it's still not that common. Like a lot of times when you die, it's because you did something wrong or they did something right, and it's just, man, there's no better feeling than getting first place.
Nope.
And your heart is pounding.
Man, when you get that win, like it's all worth it for
like a single win in a night makes the whole night. Like it really does.
Oh yeah.
So I basically like never rage at the game when playing with friends, because it's like if you all end up dying, sometimes you just have to respect the other team. Like we had one game yesterday or maybe today where we were like all geared out. It was a group of us 4. We were all geared out, and we were going into the circle. We had driven our Jeep into the house. All the doors were closed, and like I neglected to completely go around the house and look at the first floor. I roll in, and there's dudes all waiting for us, and like we ended up actually taking them out, but they took out 2 of us, and so we ended up not winning. But it was like, you know what? Can't even be mad about that because we could have played better.
Yep, exactly. It's like we could have always, feel like you could always have done something differently or handled the situation to like a better way next time. So,
yeah, like
I know that feeling.
It's like sometimes you think, oh, we were a little too aggressive. Sometimes you think, oh, we were a little too cautious, and you always have to find that right balance of moving in, being aggressive when the circle's going in, but then being cautious when you want to take cover. It's just a great game. Like I'm really excited to see where it goes, especially after watching the Invitational, and seeing what looks like this kind of, I'm going to use the word lightly, but like esports potential, like what a tournament setting for that game might look like, looked pretty exciting to me.
Yes,
definitely. What else anything besides Battlegrounds, or that's basically?
Nothing else. I wanted to get in some Quake Champions. They sent out. They did another round of the beta testing this week, and they sent out, like, everyone that was in the beta got 3 keys to give out to people. And so I gave out 3 keys, like a bunch of people had gotten keys, and we were going to play Quake Champions this weekend, but then Battlegrounds happened. So
yep, exactly.
Unfortunately, any game not called Battlegrounds just got pushed off the plate this week.
Rip. Definitely. All right. Well, we'll real quick talk again. We're going to talk every week up until it actually happens, but that Extra Life LAN, we announced the dates not that long ago, but August 18th, 19th, and 20th is when Extra Life will be happening. Obviously, our charity event we do every year, a LAN. It's always a great time. So just keep that, mark it on your calendar, put it wherever you need to. Just remember it. Again, there will be lots of other reminders. Put some money away if you a lot of people like to hold on to their cash that they're going to donate to charity or whatever else for this event and spread it out over the event. Always a good idea to do that because there's awesome prizes. I mean, we've been doing this a long time, Brandon, but there are I feel like every year the prizes improve in some form. Whether it's the PC, that crazy SSD we had to give away that was like $1,500 or $1,800 that SSD we had last year.
Yeah, we're usually able to get our hands on some pretty cool prizes, and hopefully this year's no exception. So I'm not saying don't give to
Exactly.
charity until then. I'm just saying like maybe
Yeah,
don't
no, sure.
maybe don't give like all of your charity money
Yeah, maybe
before then.
hold on to a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
For sure.
Keep a little bit for the kids. August 18th to 20th.
Make them wait.
Make
Exactly.
them wait. Make them wait for your money.
Yeah. Not the
Give them
official
something to
stance
look
of
forward to.
these opinions, Katie's Zen 18's opinions, not the official opinions of KB1.
I mean, look, if you want to walk into your local children's hospital and write them a check, there's nothing I can do to stop
Sure.
you.
No,
But
absolutely.
you know, if they can wait until
Wait
August,
a little bit. Exactly. Maybe. All right, let's jump into some news right here. And the first thing we're going to talk about, oh God, sorry, I'm trying to think of a segue to go from. Does anybody have one here before I say what the story is? Anybody have any?
Let Segway God get it.
Go ahead.
I'm sure a lot of you are excited to see us at Extra Life.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of a company, now let's. Oh, I ruined it! God damn it!
It was going somewhere, but then
I blew it. Oh, that was the worst segue. Oh, speaking of seeing things. Oh my God, there's a good segue somewhere in there.
No, but just finish the
Oh.
thought. Just finish the segue.
Speaking
Go
of
ahead.
seeing things, let's jump over to a company that is working on improving the way that you see things.
wow,
In Oculus.
this
Now,
is
if that had been the first attempt, I would
Oh.
have given you some credit. But
your dog is upset.
even the
She's so
dog-
mad.
She's so mad at you. Literally
I
left
can't
the
hold all
room.
these ha-has,
Man,
dude.
she's
Good
upset.
God. Somebody help me.
Oh,
Oh,
all right. Well,
Okay.
that is
Oh my God.
brutal.
Literally, Katie, just for the audio listeners, Katie Zen's camera has been on his dog on his bed, and she literally, after that segue failed, barked and jumped off the
She
bed.
was that mad.
She literally wants
She
to
was
leave.
that angered by it.
Chelsea's
Oh my God,
out.
I'm still zoomed in.
She's done.
All
All right,
right,
well,
leave
you know
that
what?
angle there.
I'll just know from now on, if you don't have a segue prepared, I won't kick it to you unless you're.
I don't
Even
think
even
I've
if he
done
does
that.
have a segue prepared, can we take another risk like that?
I don't know. It's a little
No, we
scary.
can't. When I think about it, I don't think I've had a podcast yet where I've nailed the segue. I think
One
every
of
single.
these days.
Really?
I mean, sometimes. Yeah,
You've
you're
nailed-
right.
You've nailed some. You've nailed some. I feel like you've had some decent.
See, I mean,
transitions.
I feel like it's not even that hard either. You just have to think of it beforehand. Like here we
Right,
go.
you
All
gotta
right.
be ready.
Yeah,
Speaking,
I was on the
speaking of an extra life, one Oculus studio not getting theirs.
Ooh, that was nice.
Oculus is winding down Story Studio.
Nice.
It's like a VR. What was they? They basically were like a VR. They made a series of VR shorts. So Lost, Henry, and Dear Angelica. They were like short VR films, and Oculus is shutting down that studio. So I thought this was kind of an interesting article to call out because I'm just curious. Like you can read on their blog, a little PR statement or whatever. They committed $250 million to fund VR content last year, and they say now they're going to carve out $50 million from that commitment to go to non-gaming experiential VR content. So I guess they're sort of trying to put a silver lining on the closing of the studio, that they're going to basically support other studios creating this sort of content, I guess, instead of doing it themselves. Which I guess I feel like if you want to put the negative spin on it, it's like I think Oculus maybe wants to push the risk along to other companies, because I'm guessing that like you wouldn't shut down a studio unless like the return just wasn't there, because they're part of Facebook now. I'm sure they probably are getting more rigorous processes, and they probably look at the how much it costs to maintain that studio and how much they would think that studio could make, and maybe those numbers just didn't make sense. So I don't know what is your guys' read on this?
You know what my read is, because I've been super not I wouldn't say negative towards VR, but I'm skeptical towards again, obviously the technology has improved. It's probably the most far along that we have seen. ever, obviously, in the history of the medium. But this to me sounds, I don't want to get like, I'm never excited over people losing their jobs, but this just kind of sounds like maybe they kind of overstated or got a little bit ahead of themselves as far as like how quickly adopted this technology was going to be. Again, like I think there's probably more factors than that, but I think this kind of, for me, signals a little bit that like, all right, let's slow our roll a little bit. Yes, the technology is improving and stuff like that, but because I'm still not sold on the fact that like we talk about this every time VR comes up, but I don't know what it's going to take for me to have a VR headset of some kind in my house, but I'll tell you, it's not going to happen in the next couple years. I don't think. I don't know about you guys. Like Katie, you're pretty, we're all pretty avid gamers. Some of us have more disposable income than others, but I don't see any kind of VR experience being at a price point anytime soon that I'm going to be like, because it's nothing more than a novelty right now. And I don't think it's going to change the way that we play games either. I think I'm excited for cool experiences. Like it'd be awesome if I know they're already working on stuff like an interactive VR movie, once that product's out there and stuff and it's more compelling and there's a lot of stuff like that and it's not in this infancy stage where I'm running around some haunted house, like that's cool. I get it. It's immersive. There's some really cool tech demos and stuff like that and experiences. But even when I watch like those zombie games, there's that one zombie game, I forget what it's called. It looks cool and it's a couple hours to play through and there's a story and all this. But I'm even like, it's so primitive at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also for me. That's why it seems like it's this is what you're saying is basically that you're looking for games to get better, but also potentially experiences outside of games, which is sort of what this studio was like sort of working on, was non-gaming experiences. So it seems weird to me.
That's why it signals to me that like that they're shifting.
It's just basically like it's such a weird thing to say, like we're closing down our studio dedicated to non-gaming experiential VR content, but you guys keep going on ahead. We're gonna give you some, like we're gonna have $50 million to give some of you, and like hopefully it works for you guys, but we're gonna not stop doing it ourselves. That seems like such a weird message to send, because it wouldn't. I think it would be fine if they had never opened that studio in the first place and just said, look, we want to fund this content, we want to invest in some of it. But for them to open the studio and then subsequently end up closing it and then say, no, we're still committed to growing this stuff, right? Like that's, I don't know, that seems like kind of a hollow thing to say when you're literally doing it in an announcement where you're getting rid of people's jobs that we're doing this sort of content just in like an official way for Oculus.
Yep. No, definitely. It's a little bit weird to try to read between the lines of exactly what they're saying, but obviously that's why we're able to talk about it and take guesses. But
I think it's cool. Though. Like I think it's I'm not seeing the must-have experience. I'm not seeing the what people in technology like to call the killer app.
Exactly.
Like what is the reason that everyone's got to own one of these? And I'm not seeing it yet. And I want it to end up being awesome. I want it to get there, but it's just, I think it's still very expensive, and so maybe that's one barrier. But even if it wasn't expensive, like I'm just not seeing the thing that makes everyone want to own one of these. And I was thinking, like, what was I listening to recently or watching recently, where I was thinking about playing a game in VR or like an experience in VR. And I was thinking about how you actually, like, you have to dedicate your whole self to that thing you're doing. And I realized, and I've realized this a lot, like when playing Battlegrounds, right? I've got 3 monitors. And so if I die in Battlegrounds, like I just tab out and I'm doing other stuff. In a VR game, there is no tabbing out. There's no multitasking. There's no, hey, let me like click over here and look at this thing or have this map up on the other screen.
You've got to dedicate yourself.
You are literally, you're just like, if you're going to play a game for 4 hours, you are playing the game for 4 hours. Like you were just in
let me
that
check
experience.
My phone.
Yeah. And I thought that's
a good point.
I feel like that's one of those things where it's kind of obvious when you say it out loud, but I hadn't thought about like that might actually be one of the barriers. Is I feel like people, sort of the way people are playing games more and more is kind of that either multitasking or like playing on the go. Obviously, people play mobile games a lot, whereas VR is like the other way where you have to be dedicated to that one thing you want to do. And I just don't know that I don't think necessarily more people over time are doing that one dedicated thing. Like people are multitasking. You're watching TV while you look at your phone. You're like, people are doing more things at once, and not fewer. So I don't know. It's just that I was thinking about that recently.
Yeah, like I mean, I've worn an Oculus. I've worn like a PSVR. They're definitely very cool, but at the point where it is right now, it's exactly what you said. It's just novelty. Like when you think about the money you're putting into that, you could get something like you could get a better graphics card, and that would just be a guaranteed improvement, like a guaranteed big improvement to everything you're going to play. Like VR, there are no like titles that you absolutely have to play with VR. Like,
no,
yeah, it's just there's no killer app, I guess.
And there's no like Zelda, there's no Mario. I feel like there's no even in games, there's no like killer game where you have to have VR to play it, and everyone's talking about it. And maybe that can happen if there's something outside of games that ends up being what everyone talks about. But I don't know. I feel like we keep waiting for it, but we've been waiting kind of a while now.
And exactly.
It doesn't.
To me, that is the indication, not the indication that it can't get to that point, but that's just still, people were calling it way, way too early. And again, I think the improvements in the actual technology are impressive, but even the little things like you're saying, Brandon, like that asks for the average person, like it's already a product that's, it's already a niche product, right? And so then you're going to ask beyond that, like the amount of attention required to even participate in an experience. So that kind of brings you down to even the more hardcore. Because sure, everybody that goes to a game show or E3 or PAX or whatever else and puts the headset on, they play for 20 minutes. That was mind blowing, because it is the first couple times you do it. It's a cool thing, but making it more than just a parlor trick. And I'm not saying the tech isn't actually there, because it is actually really cool. But that's not enough for people to actually adopt it. And for me, I was thinking, what kind of experience could I be offered that would be willing for me to pay for the money, or pay the money to get a setup for myself? And right now, there's not much. Like if there was something, like I want to see less about the gaming side of it, and I want to see an experience with, like, I want somebody to make some kind of crazy CG 3D like movie, like when I go like to Universal and you do the King Kong 3D exhibit, if you've ever done that before, something like that. Like that's super cool, and you could mimic that. Obviously, you don't have like the effects that they do with like moving the actual car and stuff like that, but something that is like a multiple hour experience in VR, that maybe it's passive, maybe it's just my ability to be able to look around and see everything in 360. Like that would be cool. But even then, it's like I'm not going to pay that much money to have that experience. I'm probably going to do it at somebody's house if they have it, or I don't know, set up movie theaters or something would do something with that. I don't know, who knows in the future. Yeah. But it's just not, I don't know, it's just not there yet. So so this is just more, I think this just kind of adds to the discussion of us being like, the killer app has to, but I guess what I'm saying is it's not just the killer app though. I think that's part of it, but I think the other stuff you pointed out is also the issue. Yeah. It's beyond just the killer app.
I think you're right that I think a killer app is like the first piece that has to be in place, but then there's still a hump to get over. I think because of just a lot of the logistical challenges of VR in its current state. Like you still have to have a really powerful computer. Actually, a good example from chat, like I'm pretending to do my homework while watching the KBMOD podcast through multitasking. It's like, well, actually, that's sort of what I'm talking about. That like you can sit here and watch a podcast, or like maybe play Hearthstone or something else, like while you're doing other things. In VR, you can't have like VR goggles on and convince your parents that you're also doing homework, right? Like it's just because
that's right.
You know what I mean? And so like that may sound funny, but I feel like that's actually really common. That like maybe you're not like you're not trying to fool your parents or something, but you're trying to do multiple things at once, and you don't necessarily have time or the desire to dedicate yourself fully to this one specific thing for hours on end. And I don't know how VR gets over that, because like that's sort of that's like something that can't really change. You know, the whole point is like the goggles that are on your face. So maybe it changes when augmented reality becomes more of a thing, where you know it's more the goggles overlaying things on your current environment instead of being completely VR. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's what it takes.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, Oculus, they're winding down their Story Studio. And Microsoft also wants to wind down your attention on some of your favorite desktop apps with our next news story.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. I wouldn't say a full recovery, but you know,
Yeah,
it wasn't crashing and burning.
It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. I mean,
It's
you
gonna
at this
take,
point,
like-
you could have dropped some kind of, you could have possibly dropped a racial slur, and I would have said that wasn't as bad as the first time.
Yeah, that was
Just because of in comparison, you know what I mean?
yeah. It's gonna take about like maybe 6 consecutive good segues to.
But that's your
recover
first one.
from
We'll
that.
count. Yeah, I would say 6, but we'll count that one. We'll add
Okay,
it.
cool.
Good job.
That's a tally mark.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a rant because Brandon, I'm gonna let you take this because you had a pretty good picture of how this is going to be. But yeah, you're pretty upset with this, and I understand why.
Yeah. So you know, we like talking about technology stuff here every now and then, and there were a few technology stories this week. But one of the bigger ones was Microsoft had a Windows event earlier this week where they showed off some new laptops and stuff. And one of the biggest things they announced was Windows 10s, which is pretty much just their competitor to Chrome OS. So Chromebooks have been gaining popularity, especially like in educational sector, you know, because they're cheap and you can access Google services and stuff on a Chromebook. So Microsoft is kind of a shot across the bow at Chrome OS, and so they announced this Windows 10s, which, as far as I can tell, is just a bad Windows. Like it's just a strictly worse version of Windows. So for example, only Windows Store apps will work on Windows 10s. So you know the Windows Store, the thing we know and love, that you know sometimes gets games exclusive to the Windows Store that have literally no one playing them. Like the Windows Store is so far from a full-fledged marketplace that it's laughable. But that is the only place you will be able to get apps for Windows 10s. Also, this is the real meat here is that
Get ready.
the default browser and search settings, default browser is locked to Microsoft Edge, Microsoft's own browser, and the default search is locked to Bing.
Oh yeah.
You cannot change the default browser, and you cannot change default search.
It's
Now,
terrible.
I don't even care if you like Microsoft Edge and Microsoft Bing.
Right.
Not
That's not
being
the point.
able to
Because
change
honestly,
them.
actually, Bing's not that terrible. Edge I haven't used, but Bing's
I don't.
not that
That's like it does. The thing is, it doesn't
Besides the
matter.
point.
It doesn't matter. The point is, you can't change it, and especially like
Right.
the default.
No choice.
I could. There is an argument that I probably would not agree with, but there is an argument you could make that look, you know, the default browser has to stay Edge because they want to keep battery life up. And so, like, if you can set your default browser to something else that maybe there's like a memory leak or some battery problem, you know, like then people would get upset, right? So maybe I could buy that. Search literally is just like plugging into an API to do searching. There's no impact on battery life. There is not a good reason aside from just the fact that they would lock you to using Bing. That is cruel. That is cruel.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's what you said. We talked about it in the pre-show, but this just seems like nothing but a money grab to be like, hey, why don't you just upgrade for $50?
Yeah, so that's the next part is you can upgrade Windows 10s to Windows 10 Pro for $49.
Oh,
It's so bad, dude. It's so clearly like a. I mean, at least for people that know what they're doing, like why? Yeah, why would you ever?
I think
Lock yourself down like that.
Yeah, it just looks like. I mean, I think especially if you want to compete with Chrome OS, I feel like Chrome OS at least has uh, a pretty solid offering of like it's basically to access Google services and the internet. That's pretty much it, right? There's not much else there, and I don't know a ton about Chromebooks. I haven't used one, but I know that it's like reasonably popular as a really low cost machine if you just need to like get to Gmail and Google Docs and things like that.
Yeah.
I think Windows coming in and trying to make a device that's similar but locked to Microsoft services looks completely different, because Microsoft services are not ubiquitous the same way Google services are, right? Like
Right.
it's just not. I think Microsoft has way different baggage that comes with releasing something like Chrome OS and locking people to their own services. And then like charging $49 basically is just, to me, is kind of just a slap in the face, because it's like, you can unlock this if you want, you just have to pay us, right? You have to pay us a little bit extra money, at which point, maybe the price point doesn't make sense. People doing price shopping on these things are probably not going to think about the fact that it's locked down unless you pay another $50.
Right.
So I'm just it's. I guess we'll see. I don't really even know who they're aiming for aside from the education market with this stuff. But I think it's a bad omen, And I linked in the doc here Tim Sweeney, who has been, we've talked about him before, been an outspoken critic of Microsoft and the Windows Store and the unified Windows platform. Obviously being part of Epic Games, who make the Unreal Engine, and so they have a pretty big stake in PC gaming not being locked down by one company. And he tweeted this incredible series of pictures where he was searching, and I assume these are, I have not verified these because why would I access the Windows Store? But I assume these are real screenshots that he didn't doctor, but maybe he did. Anyway, it was good for a laugh. It's screenshots of searching through the Windows Store, and you search for Chrome, and it's like there's no results, but then under it is a banner for Meet Microsoft Edge.
Yeah.
And then the next picture is a search for iTunes, no results, but there's an app, Groove Music. Groove Music, obviously owned by Microsoft.
Right.
Searching for Steam, no results, but then a banner for Xbox Live games.
Oh my god.
And then the last one was the best one, where he searched for Maya, and then the only result was a game called Maya the Bee.
Oh my god.
Maya obviously being like a graphics program that professionals use.
Definitely not what you're looking for then.
Nope. So we'll have to keep an eye on this, but like I agree, Brandon. It's not anything encouraging. I guess there's not
Definitely
really
not
much you can come out of this and being like, all this looks like a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just seems
a
like
good way that the market's trending, or Windows is trending, and Microsoft.
Yeah.
Really.
So yeah, Windows 10s just seems like a culmination of bad choices. But this next news article seems like what could be a promising choice. And that's that Dota 2 is going to be getting a co-op story-driven campaign. It's going to go for $10. It's going to launch by the end of May. It's called Silt Breaker. Silt Breaker. That sounds sexual. Wow.
I was just about to say Split Breaker sounds like
Split Breaker 420, dude. That's gonna
porn,
that's
dude.
Another good online name.
Dude, Slit Breaker is an incredible online handle, dude. Wow. I'm gonna have to use that this week, dude.
Yeah. Slit Breaker. You can have it, man. I discovered it, but
you did. No, that's yours, dude. You do what you want with that.
We'll see. You'll probably make better use of it than I am.
What they call me on the playground.
Slit Breaker, bro. Slit Breaker 69.
Yeah,
it's almost as good as
well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said that, but
I wanted to talk about Service Expounder 420 first, but yeah, I guess we can talk about it. But yeah, it's a co-op campaign, which Dota 2 being strictly a MOBA for the longest time. This could be promising. You have a game like Dota, really solid mechanics, like there's definitely like ways you can expand it besides just the original game type. So yeah, what do you guys think about this?
I mean, I'm probably not gonna play it, but I'm gonna ask Brandon because it says, the article describes it as Diablo-esque from the screenshots. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see. I'm probably not gonna jump at playing it just because I'm not big into Dota, and it requires you have to buy the battle pass, so it's like part of the sort of part of the promotion for the international, which they do every year, where you buy the battle pass and you can like rank it up and stuff, and a lot of people get really into that. And it seems like part of that this year is this co-op campaign. So it'll probably be a wait and see for me, but it sounds interesting. Like I could get on board with sort of a Diablo style campaign thing in Dota. I don't really know what that means aside from just like the camera angle is similar to Diablo. But it's like this. I think this is a good idea to keep people engaged in Dota. Like Dota doesn't really have a story to speak of necessarily. I think that people engage with. So it seems definitely an interesting way to promote the international, which is like usually going to be the people that are hardcore into the multiplayer side of things. Yeah. So tying this to having to get the battle pass, one, I'm sure Valve will sell a lot of these battle passes like they do every year. But it'll be interesting to see if they build on this or if this is just a one-off thing. So yeah, it's a headline I didn't really expect to see before now. Like I wouldn't have expected them to go and do anything that's really like co-op campaign related to Dota. But they did.
It is kind of, well, it's a little surprising. It doesn't really do much. It doesn't move the needle for me too much. But if you play Dota, it might be a nice little change of pace. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Are you guys ready for another segue?
Katie, I was just going to say, Katie's then just can't get done with these stories quick enough so that he can get his 6 segue redemption back.
Nothing to really
done so that he's ready.
Yeah, nothing to really add to the news, but I'm just going for these segues. But yeah,
you've got a good one here. There's got to be a good one here.
I really do. Oh yeah, I've got it. It's all they've all been good ones. It's just all about the execution. But here we go. All right. So Dota 2, their co-op campaign. Hopefully, it's what you expect. This last week, a lot of people clicked on Google Docs, and it was not what they expected at all.
I was thinking you could do a tie-in with like co-op campaign. Google Docs is for like doing cooperative doc sharing. Could have been like Dota 2 might be getting a co-op campaign now, but Google Docs has had a co-op campaign for years. And this week, Google Docs had a sophisticated phishing attack that hit millions. It's all right. You'll get there, Katie. You'll get there.
Both of yours were a bit of a stretch. I don't know if either of those I really like.
Come on. Google Docs has had a co-op campaign for years. That's incredible. That's so good.
That's kind of not really the focus of it, though. I was trying to tie in, like, the focus of the promise, because you said you weren't really expecting. Well, let's just talk about the fucking phishing attack. Okay. All right.
I like how we're not even. People are just like, my God, they're just so focused on the segues, so they're going to talk
about segues.
We'll let chat decide. We'll let chat decide. But yeah, so we're moving into the quick hits, which I guess only differ from the news in that we are allowed to talk about them more briefly.
Stopwatch going now.
This is this is kind of an interesting a tech story this week that I'm sure a lot of people, if you're in the professional world or if you use Google services, you probably couldn't miss this, because there was this major phishing attack that happened this week where someone made a Google application that looked a lot like the official Google Docs app, and basically it sent a real-looking email from someone that said, like, so-and-so has shared a Google Doc with you. And it looked kind of real. And when you clicked the link, it took you to the real Google OAuth application page, where you have to either deny or allow an application to read, whatever it wants from you. So in this case, the application asked to read, send, delete, and manage your email and manage your contacts. And so some people, if you're like really into tech stuff, you might be like, that seems kind of weird. And if you click the drop down, you can see that actually it was this app that a guy made that was called Google Docs. Now, it remains to be seen why Google allowed any app to literally name themselves Google Docs, but I'm sure that's probably in their remediation steps for not letting this happen again. But anyway, when you hit allow, when you click that allow button, it went to your entire contact list and went and spammed them with the same thing, right? And so because this came from Google, like it was basically using Google's system, the OAuth system, where you were allowing this app to maliciously get your contacts and then email all of them. So it spread very, very quickly. This was like massive. It was like there was a few hours where this was like all over the internet, right? But luckily, with an attack like this, Google was able to shut it down immediately because it was all through infrastructure they actually controlled. It was from Google Cloud, basically. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. I thought it was worth pointing out because I definitely saw it multiple times. It did not affect me because I read the emails I get pretty closely, and there were still some telltale signs like a random in the to line. There was a random @mailinator.com address. So maybe that should have tipped some people off. But
I was saying, Brandon, like, what is your take on it? Because I was like, I didn't really have, it didn't affect me, but
Scott has never written a document in his life, so it didn't affect him.
Exactly. I don't need to be worrying about Google Docs, except for I use whatever Google's version of Excel or whatever for Dungeons and Dragons. That's about it. I don't really fuck with Docs, but it is like looking at what it actually is. Like if you see an address with HHHHHH right in the front or whatever, like
at Mailinator is literally like the disposable email address platform.
Yeah, it's if you're at all savvy, like you definitely shouldn't be falling for that. I mean, definitely as far as phishing schemes go, like you said, it's more advanced than.
It's better than most that I've seen.
Nigerian
but that's not saying a whole lot either. Yeah,
but no, it's still definitely has its issues. So,
but a lot of people did fall for this. Like even people that are in the tech space and stuff. Like I saw some tech journalists and stuff fell for this. So it's definitely kind of scary because in a world where like there are so many services and you're kind of like, oh, here, you've got to give this service access to like your Twitter account if you want to do the sharing thing, or like, basically like we give permission so much more often to different services so that they can do things on our behalf, that I feel like an attack like this, of course it was going to be successful, right? So it's just kind of scary when you think about how often people click allow on something that literally says, this app would like to read, send, delete, and manage your email. Like that is a lot of things that I do not necessarily want a program to be able to do automatically.
Right. Yeah. All right, Katie, I can just see your face. I'm just waiting for the next segue. Oh, you didn't have one? Okay, I misread.
I actually didn't have one.
Okay. All right, let's see if I can.
I'm sorry to let you down.
Well, speaking of sophisticated phishing, China, known for their nefarious phishing in the great open ocean, a lot of times taking things like whales and sharks and things that they're not supposed to. Maybe that's the Japanese. You know what? I don't know. It's a mix. I know that both. Anyway, I know China does nefarious things when it comes to phishing. Okay, and even though it may be real life phishing, this has fallen apart. I had a thread.
I can never get shit about a segue ever again.
I had the thread of an idea for something, and it just totally fell apart. God damn. Okay, hold on. Wait. Let me get it back. All right, let's pretend that didn't happen. Okay. Speaking of phishing, China, known for some questionable phishing methods. Okay.
Yep, it's over.
The only thing I have is that all right, I'm just gonna say the Chinese.
Eventually, when you catch those fish, you're gonna have to put them in a box. And this week,
oh my god,
the Chinese law forced Blizzard and Riot to reveal loot box drop rates in China.
Great job.
That was
good. That was you say. That was Brandon. You just
that
came
was tortured.
Saved it. That was gorgeous.
Well, yeah. So this week, we've actually talked about this before, but we brought it up again here because this week actually Blizzard and Riot both gave the actual percentages for their various loot boxes. So Blizzard with Overwatch and Riot with League of Legends, obviously. So I don't know that people actually really care about the percentages. Like if you care about the different percentages, you can probably look it up. But I think like we learned that in China, the Overwatch drops, you get an epic quality item on average once every 5.5 loot boxes, and legendary item every 13.5 loot boxes. But the catch here is that I'm pretty sure neither company is going to specify whether those are only the drop rates for China or whether that's actually the drop rates everywhere.
Right.
Because why would they if they don't have to say officially that it's also the drop rates everywhere else too? So anyway, it looks like that that Chinese law actually sort of did have some teeth, or at least the Blizzard and Riots of the world did not want to risk going afoul of it. But I mean, I guess it could be interesting that maybe this starts to usher in. This is like very optimistic thinking, but maybe this starts to usher in a world of a little more transparency, because I feel like that's one of the ways these games obviously make a lot of their money is, people just sort of buy stuff and then click and they're like, oh, cool, I got this skin. I really want to get another one of these skins. And they click and like I feel like the one time that you get, 2 crates in a row that have both like 2 legendary skins, it's like you get hooked because you don't have this information in front of you that is like, actually, that's a statistical anomaly. Like you're in like the 0.1%. That hardly ever happens. And then you buy another 100 loot boxes and it never, it doesn't happen again.
I want to ask the greater question though. Do you think posting these things that it actually matters, that people will actually go like, oh man, yeah, okay, I can see the chances, they're extremely low, but I already know that I'm fucking basically gambling with my money or my credits or whatever they're using. Like I don't know, I just feel like people that are going to do this anyway, yeah, it might be nice to see. Maybe it'll depend. Maybe they'll open. I guess it's not. I guess there's no way that information is bad when it comes to this. I agree with that. Maybe people will go like, okay, now that I know the percentages, I'll open stuff that has a better chance, and I'll stay away from the really rare stuff.
I think
but even then, like it's already. I don't know.
The bigger thing I would care about here is not knowing the numbers themselves. It's having to have transparency on if they change the numbers. Like, because I think that's the thing that in the back of my mind is what worries me. And so like I'll give my own personal experience with Hearthstone, right? This most recent Hearthstone expansion, I bought 50 packs like I often do at the start of an expansion, and I got very few legendaries, like very few compared to what I've normally gotten. And they have like these quest legendaries, these quest cards. I didn't get a single one of those. And so there's like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, am I just kind of an anomaly here, right? I know how the randomness works. True. Sometimes you're on the lower end, sometimes you're on the higher end. But like, did they actually change anything, or is this just my imagination? And that's what I would want with these types of laws is I just want to know that nothing has changed, because if something did change, like the law says they have to let you know that like on average now, actually legendary items are going to be once every 15 boxes instead of every 13.5. Like then they sort of have to tell you if they're going to be changing that formula out from under you. And I think that like more nefarious developers, like maybe at the start, this is my conspiracy theory, right? Yeah. It's like Hearthstone in the early days, maybe they gave a higher proportion of legendaries to keep people interested. But now you're already bought in, and so they lower it to try and squeeze you for more money. That would be the conspiracy theory, which this sort of stops them from being able to do that, at least in China.
In China, yeah. I don't think there's any chance anytime soon that if they don't have that they're going to comment, even if they obviously they don't have to disclose them in the U.S. clearly or other parts of the world, but they're not going to be. There's not going to be any PR release like. Well, since China's making us do this, we wanted to be transparent for North America and Europe, and I would be shocked, right? It doesn't help. They don't gain anything out of that.
Exactly.
point.
But I also, from a practical perspective, it seems pretty unlikely that they would like make different systems in different countries just to change things up. Like I don't know that they have a ton of incentive to make things different just for China, but also I couldn't put it past them because this is pretty important stuff to their business. So I could see them changing China just specifically so that, you know, competitors can't get intelligence on how they work in the rest of the world. But I think in general, this stuff is a good idea. Like now that I'm seeing the actual numbers, I really do. I think it will build a little more consumer confidence to be able to know, you know, on average, how many legendaries or whatever I can expect when I spend $50, $60 on something. And I feel like right now, there is not this massive outcry about it, but I really, like, maybe this is just a personal opinion, but I just don't like spending money on things where it's really a gamble what I'm getting, unless I'm just expecting that gamble, right? But it feels really bad to get all rare items, you know, when you expected to get like at least one legendary or something. And so I don't know. I don't think these laws will become more prevalent necessarily, but I kind of hope they do, because I don't really see the downside for consumers.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think there's any downside for consumers. I guess I'm just more wondering. Mike made a good point in chat talking about how that like with the lottery in New York scratches, like they show the actual chances of winning, and then you know it doesn't stop that from being $1 billion industry.
Yeah,
so
exactly. That's true. I mean, lotteries are closely regulated, and people still buy scratch offs and, you know, lottery tickets every week, even though they literally tell you the odds down at the bottom.
Right. Exactly. So it may be. I mean, it's not necessarily the same as like opening up a loot crate is different. Like with a lottery ticket, like you might not get anything at all. You might win something small, especially with scratch offs. It's like you might get nothing. Whereas at least if you're opening a crate, there is an item in there. It just might not be.
Yeah, it's definitely very different because with a lottery, there's like either no value or like value. And with in-game stuff, it's like there's always some value. You're getting something. It's just maybe not as much value as you want, so it gets a little murky.
Right. All right. Well, we've got from Blizzard and Riot News to more Blizzard and Riot News. You know, I'm going to keep this. Or I'm not sorry.
This is a classic. This is a classic artisan segue here, Scott.
This is.
Speaking of Blizzard and Overwatch.
Speaking of Blizzard and Overwatch, how about Overwatch's "play of the game" meme being used in a South Korean political ad? It's been done. This South Korean politician has taken the play of the game at the end of Overwatch, and I say meme because it's everywhere. Everyone pretty much knows that at this point. So many different ones have been made. But yeah, we haven't seen an English politician in the United States do this yet. So I'm excited for when that's going to happen.
Honestly, it's a pretty good meme.
It's not bad. I know
it definitely resonate with me as a South Korean youth.
What? Right, exactly.
It's like this politician is speaking. Obviously, I can't understand any of it because it's muted, and I don't speak Korean. But it's like I'm assuming it's got the hit sounds and stuff, and it's her like speaking on.
Yes.
I don't know what their Congress equivalent is called. Yeah. But it's like her ult is charging
C-SPAN
and stuff.
Here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like C-SPAN coverage. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a cool idea. I mean, I think the game's huge in South Korea, so it makes sense. Get that young vote going. Yeah, I'd love to see that, but not just with Overwatch. I'd like to see any kind of I want to see like a COD kill cam. Like I want to see, I don't know, whatever the next presidential election or I want to see that used. I don't know.
Pandering is it kind
of Grand Theft Auto Machinima with Bernie Sanders in it.
I want to see Bernie Sanders in GTA roleplay servers. Like that's what I want to see.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, Katie, you look like you're really focusing on a segue here. Are you ready to bail on this topic?
Now let's talk about even more Overwatch.
Yes!
Overwatch concerned. That is just an objectively good segue.
That was good.
But yeah, Overwatch has earned Activision Blizzard over $1 billion in less than 1 year, which is just a ludicrous amount of revenue.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yes.
$1 billion
Speaking
in
of
less than a
revenue,
year. Mm.
are we done? Okay. I didn't want to cut anybody off for a segue.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Are we done? You literally just said the headline.
Oh my god.
Are we going to talk any more about
I'm
it?
sorry. Yeah, I was getting ahead of myself. Yeah. I mean,
I think these two stories, the political ad one and then like the announcement that they earned over $1 billion, I feel like this is, Overwatch is like I feel like it's sort of the new Call of Duty. It's like the game that everyone knows about. Because I haven't even played a whole lot of Overwatch since it came out. Like I don't play that much anymore, but I feel like it is just such a popular thing. Like everyone knows what Overwatch is. So
41 million monthly active users.
yeah,
I mean,
that's a lot.
anyway, sorry.
For a
I hadn't
paid,
seen
for a
that
paid
number, and
game,
just
that is a
fucking
lot.
Blew me away. Yeah, for a paid game.
yeah.
Like that's fucking nuts. Unbelievable.
All right, KD. I don't have any more to say on this topic.
With all this money you're getting from Overwatch, you can put that money towards some new releases. Let's talk about. We've got some good stuff coming out this week.
I like how you're directing that to literally just Blizzard employees who happen to have the money that's being made from Overwatch.
Yeah, just them. I mean, where else could you possibly get money? You know, who else is making that?
There's actually, Overwatch is the only property in the world making money right now.
That's right. That's how they're funding, food, healthcare, all through Overwatch. But yeah, regardless of how you got your money, these are some ways you can spend it. Strafe, which I think Brandon should take this. I think you know more about this than I do. But this game, I think.
I don't know a ton about it actually. I know that it's like an old school shooter. Dave Oshry talks about it a lot. I will say the screenshots absolutely look like in-game screenshots. These look like the real deal.
Yes.
It's like I will just read their description because it's pretty good. It is the fastest, bloodiest, deadliest, most adjective abusing, action-packed first-person shooter of 1996.
There you go.
And it comes out on May 9th, 2017 for $19.96.
96 cents.
See what they did there?
Yep.
Yeah. Love it.
What's also about this game? Surgeon's General warning: the Surgeon General was brutally murdered by Strafe, and that's that it goes. And then anyway, there's some clever writing here. Definitely harkening.
This looks very similar to. I can see why Dave is all over this game because this actually kind of looks like Dusk, the game that he's working on. It's also kind of brutal and old school graphics. But yeah, I mean, for $20, this looks pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Featuring breathtaking photorealistic graphics.
Yes,
you can see it from the screenshots.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't tell the difference. Yeah, but yeah, this game looks dope. May 9th for a pretty good price. Next up is a game called Birthdays: The Beginning, which is kind of an odd game. It's a garden growing game, and that's about it. I thought this was. I really just added this because of the developer working on it, Arc System Works, the team behind Guilty Gear, and a lot of ridiculous anime fighting games. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
It's a total different direction. Definitely different direction for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Create a cube-shaped world that appears to have like dinosaurs.
Yeah, and then you make unique life forms. It says, and then you create conditions for life, and then witness the birth of an entire ecosystem. I mean,
hey, Scott, we were just talking about how VR is going to need some like kind of non-gaming experiences. This one, I don't know. It's like, is this even a game, or is this just sort of like, are you actually creating life?
Wow.
Just fulfilling some sick fantasy. Just watching I'll come before you.
Birthday's the beginning. That might actually be one of the worst titles of any game I've ever.
It really is
awful. I mean, even looking at it, I'm gonna just put it in chat. And when you see it written, it's I don't know. It doesn't tell you anything. Like, it doesn't tell you anything about the game. I mean, not that you have to explain your game in your title, but that's pretty
It's
rough.
Japanese, dude. They don't.
I
have to
know.
make any
Yeah, I'm
sense.
sure it's lost in translation or something. But
They could call it Ultra Time Dinosaur Cube Force
yeah,
F.
right.
I'm sure they had
But,
to scrap a few very anime sounding titles for this game.
Mhm.
Interestingly enough, this game is on Hutchison 15's wish list.
Oh, this game.
Yeah.
I believe
So
it.
we're gonna have to interrogate him about that next week if he's on.
Did anybody tell him that there's no flopping penises in this game like there are in Rust? Because
You don't know that.
That's true. I don't know yet.
Witness the birth of an entire ecosystem, and you think there's not genitalia?
Yeah, that's a good
Oh.
point.
Mm.
I mean, it looks a little bit too PG for that, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they
maybe.
want you to think. You don't put
That
that in
big
the screenshots,
dog.
Scott.
It's gonna be good, dude.
All
If
right,
I can't see
yeah.
a T-Rex nut on a tree, then it's not.
Just
it's
think
not-
of the,
It's
the
not a
amount.
god game, dude. 'Cause we know how that's fruit came into existence, right? Did you guys know that? Oh, anyway.
Oh, well,
T-Rex nut.
But,
Anyway.
okay.
damn.
So,
All right.
About this next game.
Yeah. About
Yeah,
that.
this next one. You don't know how long I've waited to include an RPG Maker game
God.
on a new release section. And this actually, surprisingly, is not some, anime or a visual novel kind of deal. This game is called Rakuen, and this is a special RPG Maker game on Steam because not only does it not use any of the stock assets that come with it, which
Ooh.
a ludicrous amount of games that cost money on Steam use, but this is actually a pretty beautiful looking game. It looks very, very artistic. It's kind of a non-traditional RPG. There's no combat. I'll read the description here. A hospitalized boy comes to terms with his own story by traveling with his mom to a beautiful fantasy world, ultimately helping his fellow patients find closure by walking a mile in their shoes. Now that just sounds like a
Okay.
damn premise with a lot of potential.
That sounds like a heartwarming and character-rich story, which, funny enough, is actually the first thing listed in the features section.
Yes.
But yeah, it does. Interesting.
Looks like it was. If I'm reading the developer line right, it's just someone's name. So it looks like maybe just
Yes.
one person
Kind of
made
a
this.
Passion
Ooh.
project by
Yeah.
Laura.
Laura Shigihara.
Shigihara. Yes.
Shigihara desu. Shigihara no game wo tsukareta. But yeah, Rakuen comes out May 10th.
Honestly,
And,
though,
or-
if you're going to play it, you'd probably want to upgrade your system because I'm seeing 1024 by 768 high color plus in the graphics department, and you're going to need
Now,
200.
here's a question for you. Do you think that Lara herself actually owns a Windows PC with an Intel Pentium 3 that she tested this on?
I know.
Does she
that's what I
know?
want.
Does she
know
know
what?
that it runs on my Pentium 3?
Yeah, you know what? Laura sounds like a stand-up gal. I bet she tested herself.
Does she know if I take out my RAM sticks and I put in just one 512 megabyte stick of RAM, is it going to run?
If it doesn't play, I'm gonna kick her ass.
Gonna have some upset customers.
Yeah, it's going to be
Just
Yeah.
saying.
I can just see the flooded negative reviews now. It's really a shame. I mean, now granted, I don't want to see GTX 660 down there in recommended graphics, but they're probably just going off of the recommended RPG Maker.
I'm sure she
graphics.
probably is.
Oh. Exactly.
But yeah, no price yet. But this does look like a game to keep an eye on. And next up is a game that I will furiously be keeping an eye on, purely
Actually,
because
just to mention, it doesn't have a price, but it's possible that it may be like super cheap or free.
Or maybe
That's
they
true,
pay.
yeah.
Maybe they might even pay you to play it. Who knows?
You
They
mean
pay you to
I mean
feel
they would
emotion.
definitely pay KD to play it. That's a given.
That's true.
Yeah, I'd be the sponsor for sure. But yeah, next up is a game that includes the word Souls Light Combat,
I
or
saw,
the phrase,
I saw that.
in its description. So naturally, I have to mention it on the new release section. But this game actually looks pretty cool. It's called Dead Cells. It's a roguelite Metroidvania action platformer.
Oh, gotta fit those buzzwords in.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
Can I just
got
say
to
I'm just
I don't
got
play a
cute
roguelite unless it's Metroidvania. Okay.
No.
honestly
Absolutely.
that right there is like I'm out. I am absolutely
Oh. But don't let
not
that
because
deter you.
not because it'll be bad, but because like seriously, dude, come on, how hard are you trying?
That's the market today. And I mean, I thought the same thing too, especially seeing Souls Light. Like, that's clearly pandering to that audience. And then I played the trailer, and it looks like some really genuinely fluid, well done animation, some pretty satisfying combat, some beautiful pixel art. And yeah, it's I believe the debut game from Motion Twin, which is a game developer name I never would have thought of. And yeah, it's already got some pretty promising reviews from Kotaku, Rock Paper Shotgun. So yeah, this is one to look out for. I'd say for sure.
Aside, buzzwords aside, it does look like a pretty neat game.
It does. No, it looks very, at least at the very least, it's pretty looking.
Yes. Although I would prefer if less games threw all this shit in their descriptions.
Yeah.
Knowing full well the people. I mean, I'm looking here, Steam community tags. I don't see Souls Light anywhere. Gonna have to enter that in myself.
They combined their feature. It says Roguevania. Like, how many times are we gonna just combine words to talk about the same thing?
Oh, I see roguelite and roguelike, both very popular user defined tags. But yeah, May 10th. No word on a price yet, obviously. Yeah, I mean, this is in the release section. What are we expecting? But yeah, that comes out May 10th. Next up is one of the most artistically well done games I've seen in a long time. This game is called Ovivo. I hope I said that right. Ovivo.
Are you sure that's what it's called? I feel like when you say that, it needs to have some more emphasis behind it.
Yeah.
Ovivo.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, this game is it's a platformer, but you're not really doing a lot of standard conservative platforming. You're a ball, and every time there's only black and white in this entire game, and whenever you touch something of the other color, your gravity changes. So you end up ping-ponging through a lot of these levels. And just going by the trailer here, which I recommend you watch, I'm going to drop a link in chat. It looks like you're going through some really neat environments, and the description talks about it's a metaphoric world filled with illusions and hidden messages. So yeah, it's already got some awards from shows dating back to from a game jam from 2014. So this game's been in development for a long time, finally coming out. So yeah, this is one to look out for.
That's pretty
May
cool.
12th.
I like the premise. Reminds me of some of the puzzle games that have sort of an interesting catch. It's like this one's interesting catch is one, it's only black and white, but then the gravity thing, I could imagine it's almost like seems almost like a puzzle game. It doesn't say puzzle game, but
yeah, it kind of seems like that. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, looks good. May 12th, no price, but keep an eye out for that one. And last up here, we've saved the best for last.
This is the best. I've been looking through this, dude.
This game is called Stay, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And it's a visual novel where it's made by Dev Group P, which you remember from such classics as Panzer Models, Tank Dating Simulator, where you date a bunch of girls named after military tanks. All right, and there are a couple things that stand out to me. It's the premise of the game is you're an agent in North Korea. You've got 2 bodyguards with you who you can romance, of course. One screenshot shows one of the female leads saying, I love you, Donald Trump.
Yes, he's not joking.
That is one of the
screenshots.
And one of the trailers is a commissioned clip from Big Man Tyrone.
I was going to say they have the guy from Fiverr.
The Fiverr guy We've
Yep.
seen from countless montage parodies.
Right.
They got him to act for a trailer for this game. And that's pretty much all that needs to be said. I don't really... well, this wasn't added for the game itself. This was added for Big Man Tyrone. That's what we all came for.
God.
Good day, lads! It's so good. But yeah. So that comes out on May 11th.
There you
So
go.
keep an eye. You know, if this is going to blow up on Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, PewDiePie, they're going to be rolling out Let's Plays. This is going to be the next big hit. And you're going to hear about it. You've heard about it first on the KBMOD podcast. This game of the year.
We are the tastemakers.
Called it here first. Awesome.
All right, viewer questions. Let's do it.
Yeah. Thank you, Katie, for the new releases. Just an absolute banger you put out there.
That was a banger.
That was a culinary banger. Speaking of culinary bangers, hey, the Iron Midget hits us with So there was a Vice article this week that basically, I mean, it was a long piece of reading, but it basically claimed that pizza is a sandwich, and Iron Midget asks us, "Is pizza a sandwich?" And I don't know if you guys read the article. I mean, it was pretty long.
Did I read the article? No.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Okay.
Yes.
But I'm sure you have an opinion, Brandon.
But I have skimmed the article, and it seems that at the beginning, I understand the premise being set forth, which is the line, "Pizza is the world's most popular hot open-faced sandwich." So they are basically like they're sort of skirting the loophole here, which is like open-faced sandwiches muddy this debate heavily.
Yes,
and
they
so
do.
if you want to believe that like open-faced sandwiches fully qualify as sandwiches, then pizza basically looks the same when you write it down. Like when you write down the way it's made, it is made like an open-faced sandwich. So I understand that premise if you want to buy into that entire line of thinking, but open-faced sandwiches are just like it's a minefield, right? It's a minefield.
If you start going down there's so many issues if you allow that into your worldview.
If someone walked up to me and asked me if pizza was a sandwich, I would just say fuck you.
Yeah, you wouldn't even give them an answer. You just
the answer is not important in that question.
No,
you're clearly a radical.
The problem with this whole thing is it goes into the deep. I mean, not that me telling people that they're overthinking the sandwich question is probably a little bit hypocritical, because that's what we do here. But this is really, like you said, Brett. This is really reaching. And I can understand the premise with the whole open face sandwich thing, but pizza, like this is we just don't need to go here. This is just feels unnecessary. There's other things that we can talk about when it comes to, like, we got the hot dog sandwich question, and obviously a million times and all that. We can discuss the merits of the KFC double down. Okay. Like within our lanes, when we're talking about sandwiches that most people can agree on, or at least debate, pizza, throwing that into the mix is just like, it's just irresponsible is maybe the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. I think it's because the word sandwich can be used if you want to qualify sandwich as a category, an entire category of food items. A lot of things fit into a loose definition of a sandwich, but that's not, like, you're missing the forest for the trees at that point, because you should never call a pizza a sandwich. If you ask someone for a sandwich, 100 times out of 100, they're not going to give you a pizza, right?
That's a great point too. That's a great point.
It's a matter of practicality that, like, it doesn't actually matter if a pizza fits the sort of the definition you see as a sandwich, is that you'd never walk in and say, give me a sandwich. You would also never walk in and say, give me a pizza sandwich, because that would be different. People would interpret that differently than if you walked in asking for a pizza. So I think it comes down to practicality when you have this debate, is like, it actually doesn't matter if it's a sandwich or not. It matters in, like, would you ever refer to a pizza as a sandwich? And the answer is no, you wouldn't. Because there's a better word to describe pizza, and that word is pizza.
Pizza. Drop the fucking mic, Brandon. I'm so, you know what?
You fucking nailed it.
Anything else needs to be said. Just drop the, you know what? How about someone clip that and at Vice, okay? Someone clip that and at Vice on Twitter in regards to it.
Someone clip that. Add in when Brandon said "get shit on" episode 100, and then you've got
right.
a
Splice
banger.
it together. That was perfect.
There
I did
is
fully agree.
there is one thing from this article that is just truly wonderful and had some genuine work put into it that we have to talk about.
Yeah.
They've created this sandwich alignment chart, which kind of goes the same way as like a D&D, chaotic evil or lawful
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Where in this
chart is
case,
great.
it's awesome. One side is there's ingredient purist going down to ingredient rebel, and the other side is structure purist going down to structure rebel. So ingredient and structure purist, you have like a BLT, hardline traditionalists, and it goes all the way to like if you were a structure rebel but you're ingredient purist, you have like a wrap. It's got all the things of a sandwich, but it's not bread. But you have a structure purist and an ingredient rebel, which is ice cream between two waffles is the sandwich.
My favorite though is the extreme. I think you're about to say is the ingredient rebel, structure rebel. Tell them what that one is.
If you combine ingredient rebel with structure rebel, you get radical sandwich anarchy, which is a Pop-Tart. Which is just
Pop-Tart.
absolute nonsense.
Yep. Which is nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think looking at this chart, I definitely fall into. I think am I a true neutral? I would say that's what I gravitate towards.
Yeah. True neutral is a hot dog.
Right. A hot dog is a sandwich is listed on true neutral. And I don't know. I would have to I have to consider a little bit more. I think it depends on the day, man. And sometimes you ask me, certain days I'm a true neutral. Some days, no, I'm never a radical. I'm never an ingredient rebel, structure rebel, anarchy. I'm never in that state. But sometimes I'm a little bit more specific. I'm an ingredient purist some days.
I think I typically would go with structural purist, if only because those are things you would call sandwiches. Like when you call something an ice cream sandwich, you don't call it only a sandwich, but like you use sandwich to describe the structure. And I feel like that's most often the time when the word sandwich is applicable. Because like you would never call a burrito a meat sandwich or like a Mexican sandwich. You just don't. So I think that's where like I draw the line. Is sandwich I think is most clear to define structure, and you don't like that. That feels natural to me, because like you would call an ice cream sandwich. I think is absolutely a sandwich. It's just I don't mind going ingredient rebel on that definition.
That's another great online handle, Radical Sandwich Anarchy. That's a really good one.
I will say this grid has added meaning to my life. So something good has come from this discussion.
Yes.
All right. Well, there you go. Thank you, Iron Midget, for the question. Our next one comes from McKinnery on Twitter, and he asks us the following: you guys talk about restaurant food a lot, but what is your favorite food to make at home? It's a great question. Favorite thing to make at home. I have two things. I was thinking about this. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Katie? You had a thought.
I'm just gonna say I don't make a lot of food, so I'll go with yakisoba noodle meals.
Okay. I mean, are you okay? I think he's
that,
aiming
or maybe
for
maybe a bowl of cereal.
God,
do you make anything with the actual ingredients, like that's not put in a microwave or that doesn't require cereal?
Right, isn't pre-prepared.
I make the water when I move the sink handle.
Okay.
Master Chef.
God damn it. Okay. All right.
I do a lot less cooking than I would like to. That's one thing I definitely want to improve on.
But that's what I'm asking. There's a difference between doing a lot less cooking and doing literally
zero.
So little cooking. So little cooking you can't answer this question unless you talk about cereal.
Like you could have even said fucking toast, KD. I would have taken toast, but you
toast. Yeah, I mean,
you make toast.
Listen, man.
You ever?
Yeah, I've prepared a bagel. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you telling me you don't have any like little specialties? Like for example, my answer here is probably egg sandwich. I don't cook often.
I knew you were going to say egg sandwich.
Egg sandwiches are my go-to, and they're fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Toast the bread, cook the eggs.
I was going to say my thing is sandwiches in general, but with all kinds of different meats and like trying out. So like, let's say I'll make a steak or I'll have a pork loin or a chicken for some night. It's then repurposing. So I'll have leftovers, right, and repurposing that into some kind of like. I'm like, my Tab always makes fun of me, but I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna make something for lunch. I got leftover chicken, and I'm in there, dude. I'm slicing the chicken up, the chicken breast I had. I'm marinating it in some seasonings. I'm cooking it on the stove. I'm, making some kind of aioli, and then maybe adding some bacon. I like crafting different kinds of sandwiches with like. So I enjoy doing that, and also like making anything breakfast. I love making breakfast.
I mean, given how often we've talked about sandwiches on this cast, it
Yeah,
should be clear that we have at least one sandwich enthusiast.
I do love crafting different. And then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, man, this would be. And sometimes I impress myself, and I'm like, man, this is. If I ever open a restaurant, I'm going to remember this. And then I always inevitably forget.
And then you just forget to open a restaurant.
Well, yeah, that's too. But no, yeah. So any kind of it's funny actually. That would have been a good segue. Speaking because we haven't done segues for the questions, but yeah, crafting different kinds of sandwiches is always fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've made like wraps, or like paninis.
All right, okay, we're getting warmer. We're getting a little bit warmer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ramen noodles wouldn't be my official answer, but yeah, that's definitely something I want to improve on. Is
Paninis are solid. But I like
paninis are good.
Yeah,
that's fun. Okay,
but yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of paninis, Flanzy asked us on. I don't know.
Oh wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Extra Life this year.
Yes.
When we have our KBMOD cooking show, that's the perfect opportunity.
Ooh.
It's my ability.
There you go. That should be like a stretch goal. Is Katie Zen makes a full meal on stream.
Katie Zen feeds the whole staff.
No, that's so genius that we'll get the ingredients. Maybe people choose the ingredients, and then you can make whatever you want. Like almost like we give you a basket, like chopped, and you have to put something together, and then we get to taste test it. Oh my God, Katie! People would donate bonkers for that to see you cook. Chat, don't let me down.
That'd be great.
How hype would that be? And just let you go, like give you some chicken, give you a few. Like, you got to use these things, but what are you gonna make?
I'll have to start practicing.
Yeah.
Donation incentives for different ingredients.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe hire for like stuff that's a little more obscure. That's like he's got to use fish sauce. It's like oh boy.
Oh my God, fish sauce, cream cheese.
The more money you donate, the more exotic it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. And he has to I have to play Dark Souls while I can not die.
I think.
No, I mean maybe that's a bit too far.
Pop rocks. No. All right. Flanzy asked us on Twitter, if you had one last concert to go to, what two bands / groups would you want to collab for that concert? So if you had one last concert. So what two bands or groups would you want to see? If it was your last concert, I guess.
I think the idea is like they would collaborate for the concert, not that they would like both go on one after the other, but they would like play together or something.
Got it. Man, I mean, it's easy for me. I mean, I'm actually seeing Coheed on the. I know you saw Coheed recently. I'm seeing them on the 10th, which I'm very excited about. So Coheed's in there, easy. And then this is maybe one that you wouldn't expect. I would love to see my boy Bangs. If you haven't seen Bangs from YouTube, take it to a movie
with Coheed.
Dude, can you imagine, dude?
God. That's definitely that could be interesting.
That would be fantastic. Like so one of my YouTube favorite YouTube finds of all time with your boy Bangs could be pretty exciting. God. I'd pay a lot for that ticket.
Full seats.
What about you guys?
Sold out. I probably. Do you guys remember D4 Danny? He did that song, goodbye to all the people who hated on me. Have you ever heard that? It was like a YouTube joke song. I think I'm lagging. I can't hear you guys. Hello?
No, I'm not familiar with that song.
Oh no, Danny is a beast.
Okay.
Am I lagging for you guys at all? Or? Oh shit.
Tell me about Danny.
Hold on, APL just dropped out of the call for me.
There we go. I'm back. I literally lost audio on KD. I couldn't hear what you were saying. I could only hear Brandon. That was really weird.
I've been roboting a lot, so I assumed that was like
maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny, he's a brilliant rapper. Yeah, he's he's an up and coming rapper.
Oh yeah, Danny. You were talking about Danny. Yeah, Danny's incredible.
Okay, good. Yeah, someone knows who Danny is. Yeah, put him as the front man for Metallica for one show. Think about the brilliance.
Wow, that would be something.
Battery. It'd be great.
Okay, can I just point out? Did you guys point out that Radical Sandwich Anarchy is in our chat? And it's just said, I don't really know where to go with this username now that the conversation has moved forward.
Dude, that's such a good.
Because 2 questions ago. God bless. Hey, listen, I appreciate the meme. That was good.
I think that was also a name change, not a new account.
No, was
so
it? Yeah.
I appreciate that dedication.
Yep.
I would go. You kind of stole my answer in part with Metallica, but Metallica is one of my favorite bands. So I'm going to mix one of my favorite bands of all time, Metallica, with the best band I've ever seen live, which is Rammstein. I would mix those two.
Okay.
That'd be nuts.
For just probably the best concert of my life.
I'd like to see something with Metallica and Lady Gaga after they played together. That was actually pretty good. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I could definitely see like some good collaborations with a pop artist that has a good voice, and like a band that like Metallica that has songs that you really like, but have someone else sing. That could be interesting.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we've got one more question. For me, it's going to be a very quick answer, but I don't know about you guys. Maybe you'll give it more thought. Eco Official on Twitter asked us, if you could live and work up in the International Space Station for a whole year, would you?
Absolutely not.
Not even. I wouldn't even consider it. All right.
I think the novelty of no gravity would like wear off.
That would
it's cool.
Real quick.
I mean, well, here's the reason my answer is an immediate no is just that is not something you can just do and be like, oh yeah, I guess I'll go work up there for a year. It's like it takes a ton of training. I mean, you actually a year of your life is spent up there basically only doing work. Like if it's so important to you that like being able to see the world, from space is worth a year of your life, that's like but mostly just work.
Whole year, yeah.
Then I guess I could see it, but I feel like it takes a special type of person to want to do that work.
If you had said like a week or something, like even I'd be like, that'd be cool. That'd be an incredible experience. Even a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
Start getting onto that.
I feel like a week, maybe a week. I could maybe do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I was on board until like say if it was just living up there. I mean, I'd bring my fucking gaming PC. I'd bring my entire backlog of games, or just something to do. But this question says, if you could live and work, that's probably some hard work up there in the space station.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you don't get to like when you're in the International Space Station, you don't get to choose the type of work you're doing.
Yeah.
You're only doing work related to space.
Exactly. Plus, I mean, I've talked about this before. There was another question where I asked the question, in space, masturbation, right? You're connected to all of these machines. They monitor everything. Like, if you need to get a nut, dude, like all of NASA knows that I'm not saying that you can't do it, but I mean, honestly, for a full year,
well, the thing is, in space, there's a process. Right? Yes. You gotta follow the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you're risking not your life and everyone else's.
Right. His heart rate's spiking. What's going on? Oh, nope. He's just jacking off for the 6th time today. You know what? We really shouldn't have allowed this APL Fisher guy who got a full year. He doesn't even do work. He just sits up there watching shitty YouTube videos and jacking off. Who allowed this? Eco Official?
He's using up all our bandwidth on these bad YouTube videos.
Oh, and when he's not on Pornhub, he's on fucking shitty YouTuber channels. Like, what is this? I mean, I don't know. It would go very poorly. So I know this is all hypothetical, but
yeah,
it's just not something.
No, I don't think I could do a year. I don't even know if I could do a month. I could maybe do a week, and that would be pushing it.
Yeah.
Same. Same. So no. So for the question, and it's the form that it was asked, I think it's a no from all three of us. So
I think a better question would have been, what is the maximum amount of time you would spend in internet working in a space station?
in the space station,
Yeah.
I'd say like
I think the
before-
novelty would wear off. I really do feel like the whole floating thing, like after about a week, I think a week anywhere for vacation or whatever. I mean, this wouldn't be a vacation.
I mean, if we're actually talking like I get to choose how much time I spend up there, we're spending about 12 hours.
Okay. To get the
because like here's like let's say when you go to a place, right? If you're going on normal vacation, do you stop at the place and just marvel at it for days? No, you stop, you take some pictures, right? You maybe take a selfie, you get some different angles, and you're done. And you're like, you know what? That was cool. I enjoyed that, right? But I'm not one of those people that even let's say you're going to like Yosemite, where there's a ton of different things to see. Like maybe you could get a week out of a big national park like that. But in space, all you have is space. So like, what are you going to look at aside from the Earth and the moon and maybe whatever else you can see? That's all you're going to look at. So yeah, maybe let's give it a few hours. I'll definitely, I'll take it in. But I think a little any more than that, I'd be ready to go after the first day.
Yeah. Okay. I know. I see your logic there. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I could probably do a couple days. I don't know. I might err on the side. I just feel like if I'm going to go all the way up there, feel like I'm risking my life, even though it may be safe. I think 12 hours might be a little bit too short for me. I'll be like, well, I took a rocket. I was strapped to a fucking rocket to get up here, so I'll give it a little bit more time.
Let's be honest though. By the end of that second day, you're gonna be ready to go.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, all right, I don't get a cell signal up here.
Yeah, because it's not like you're going to a destination. Like you're literally like there's no pool up there. You're not chilling in some beautiful that's the other thing.
I know if you were in space, Scott, you're gonna be sitting there on your phone checking Twitter, and it's like no service. And you're like, oh,
I am. I'm gonna be so fast. I'm gonna be so over space food. I'm gonna be drinking Tang and eating fucking whatever else they developed for NASA developed and fucking Spam.
You're gonna be eating like the solid ice cream stuff. It's gonna be like, all right, I'm kind of done with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, good questions this week. Appreciate them. We would now go to our iTunes podcast review of the week, where if we had one, we would read it and we would laugh and we would possibly cry and we would be so enthused by how creative our community is. But it looks like this week our community wasn't very creative.
Someone had the opportunity to enrich our lives and enrich their own, and you all passed up on it.
Yeah, I guess we're just not doing that right now. So, but in the future, if you would like to leave us a review, give us, let us know how we're doing. You can do that by obviously, opening up your iTunes. You can do it on your mobile device and, finding the KBMOD podcast, rating it 5 stars, which is absolutely what this podcast is. What other podcast, would say that they would spend 12 hours in space and then get the fuck home? We do. We're not afraid to say it like it is.
What other podcast are you going to come to find badly done segues, badly done like second attempts at segues, and then people randomly disconnecting due to internet issues? Like, what podcast is going to give you this kind of quality?
You can't find that experience anywhere else, only on the KBMOD podcast. So definitely get the reviews going. Would like to see, next week I want to see 2 or 3 reviews that are worthy of us reading them. So get it together, guys, for episode 278, which will be next week. We're on 277 right now. This is a call to action. And but it's been a real treat as always, chatting with you gentlemen about matters of life and death and pizza and other things. Obviously, you can check out kbmod.com for different articles, reviews, build guides. Check out the multi-stream. Of course, also the Twitch channel that we are currently broadcasting from has shows during the week. So always check out twitch.tv/KBMOD at different times because there's probably something going on. You can follow KBMOD Gaming on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming. I am at APL Fisher. Brandon is at VOL1TION. Katie Zen is at Katie Zen 18. And yeah, thanks again so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week. Farewell.
Au vivo!